All right, we are back. Episode number 3 of To The Crib podcast with your boy Delix, my man Coach Bishop.
Hey, how's everybody doing, man? Y'all ready? Excited as we are? Week 1 of NFL football.
We're back, baby.
We've already had our first dose. We got to see the Detroit Lions upset Kansas City Week 1 on Thursday Night Football, and now we're going to bring you everything you need today for Week 1 to get you ready to kick off your NFL season.
Yes, sir. So we're going to recap Thursday night's game real quick. Then we're going to go by each game, talk about fringe players, people that, maybe flex starting options, because obviously you're going to start the main guys. And then we're going to do a different segment. We're going to come back to you in another segment with a separate one for our betting lines for the week. So let's get right into it, right?
Absolutely. Thursday Night Football.
So Thursday Night Football. Some surprise outcome, maybe, to some people.
To some people. I kind of saw it a little bit.
Right.
I talked about that in the last episode. I said I could see a way they win, especially with the way the spread was trending, starting to dip with no Kelsey, no Chris Jones. I mean, David Montgomery definitely did his thing. He had over 20 carries. I mean, they were definitely feeding Montgomery the ball, and he took advantage.
All right, so main points in the game. Kansas City side, we saw Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore combined for like 1 for 8, 0 for 0.
Yeah, it's not
horrible drops everywhere. Are we panicking?
No, we're definitely worried. But if I have Toney or I have Sky Moore, it's still more of a wait and see. Let's get Kelsey into the lineup and see if that helps us a little bit. One thing on Kadarius Toney, he hadn't practiced for like 6 weeks. So he literally wasn't even catching footballs, and they just threw him out there. He was kind of set up for failure a little bit in this situation. But if he has another week like that, then it's going to be kind of a little worried. So if those are players, if you don't have right now, maybe you want to buy the dip and get them real low. Maybe hit up one of your partners and say, hey, let me take Toney off of your hand and just give him like crumbs and see if they're willing to bite.
Yeah.
And then you can get the explosiveness if he comes back next week and have a great week.
One good point that you made was that he was open on pretty much all the ones that he dropped. So there's still room for that to be, a good case.
Exactly. That's the one thing I looked at and I took out of it. He was open. He was dropping wide open passes. And that's not going to happen all the time. That could be nerves, butterflies, call it what you is. He needs to make those plays.
Yeah.
And I think eventually he will. But he was open. He did get open. He just wasn't converting. So I'm not selling on him right now. I'm buying the dip.
McKinnon, where the hell was he at?
Wow. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because Edwards-Helaire got actually more love than him.
Yeah, he had 7 touches. Edwards-Helaire had 7 touches.
Exactly, and McKinnon got 0 carries and only 2 targets with Kelsey out of the game. So the crazy thing to me is all the passes that he was catching last season seemed to go Pacheco's way. So
Pacheco had 4 catches for 31 yards.
Exactly. So and those were the yards that we thought McKinnon was going to get. So that's something
a little scary.
A little scary if you're a McKinnon owner, but a great if you picked up Pacheco.
Yeah.
That was a great thing.
All right. And then on the Detroit side, like we said, Montgomery did his thing. He actually got 21 carries, which is amazing.
Yep.
Jahmyr Gibbs owners kind of freaking out this after that game because he only had a 29% snap rate. But are you freaking out?
I'm not, because in those that's low percent snap rate. When he was in, the play was designed for him.
Right.
I think he had 11 touches, I want to say. I believe is his number. He's somebody that I'm definitely not worried about because when he was in the game, the things were designed for him.
Yeah, he had 9 touches, but he did look pretty good on those plays. He kind of had that Kamara-esque where he don't fall down. He has that contact balance, which is what we like to see. He also had a clear touchdown where he slipped on, and then the touchdown went to Monroe. So it's looking good. You're going to take it. Obviously, they're going to ramp up the snap percentage for him, which might take down a little bit from David Montgomery, but I think throughout the year, they're going to both be able to eat.
Right.
They're both going to be around, RB2.
They're going to both be relevant.
Relevant, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then one other thing I want to talk about is Sam Laporta. You take what you got from him.
Yeah.
You got 5 targets, 5 catches. 30 yards, but that's what you get from these tight ends.
Yeah.
You're just hoping for a touchdown. I think slowly, steadily, he's gonna be obviously also more comfortable with Goff, and I think it's gonna be a good play for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
especially in Dynasty, he's wheels up.
Sam Laporta is definitely somebody that you're happy you have him if you drafted him.
And then a couple more little notes. Rashee Rice, he actually got a touchdown.
He did.
He led the team in targets.
Yes, he did.
5 targets, which was tied with Noah Gray. It's not yet, but the hype train is warming up.
It's going to start.
It's warming up.
Exactly. That Tony and Sky Moore keep kind of like essentially dropping the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's just going to keep opening his windows for Rashee Rice to like
kind of keep creeping in.
Keep creeping in and become Patty Mahomes' best buddy. It's going to be his homie.
Yeah, and then rest in peace to Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
2 for 8 on 6 targets.
And a fumble in the red zone.
And a fumble. And then lastly, shout out to Dave Montgomery for wearing the number 5. That's supreme swag drip. Dripping with swag.
Reggie Bush-like.
Yeah, he looked a lot slimmer. He looked good. He looked focused.
Yes.
The Lions are going to be interesting this year. I have them not making the playoffs, but that was a good start for them.
That was definitely, and like I said, I had them right there. So
yeah,
second in the division.
All right, so moving on from there, we're going to talk about Sunday today. You know,
let's
get
go.
these games in, baby.
1 o'clock. Let's do it.
All right, we're kicking it off. San Fran at Pittsburgh. Real quick, we both have Pittsburgh winning.
Absolutely.
We both have Pittsburgh winning. You're going to start your San Fran guys. Debo, Ayuk, CMC.
Correct.
Kittle's playing.
If Kittle's playing, you definitely start him.
You have to start him. On the other side, though, Pittsburgh side, are you playing any of the receivers, Deontay?
I'm playing both Deontay Johnson and I'm putting Pickens in my lineups as well.
Yeah.
Freiermuth is another one that I love to play, Freiermuth. But this backfield for the Pittsburgh Steelers,
yikes.
Yeah, especially against the San Francisco defense. I'm not sold on Najee Harris this week. Najee Harris is somebody who, in my redrafts, I wasn't drafting. I was kind of trying to avoid because of the Jaylen Warren potential to take over that I feel. And so this week I'm low on Najee. Don't play Najee if you have him. If you can avoid having to start him, you have to start him. But if you can get away from it, sit him this week. Love the Steelers with the upset this week at home with Mike Tomlin. I like the Steelers today.
Yeah, I like the Steelers pulling it out as well. They're at home. Najee Harris is going to be one of the top guys that are drafted in the top 4 rounds that we're going to suggest to sit today. But then again, we didn't draft him.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those that I just I don't see the matchup here. It's going to be a tough one for him. All right, moving on. Houston at Baltimore. We both have Baltimore winning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No Andrews.
No Andrews.
So likely he's going to play.
Yeah.
Is he a top 12 tight end this year?
He's right there in the top 12. He's in the 12 range for me. We're going to talk about it as we keep moving forward about some of these other tight ends that we may like over likely. But if you're a Mark Andrews owner right now, playing likely is the most likely scenario that you're looking to do right now. You're trying to make sure you put likely in your lineups, scoop him up off the waiver wire if he's there so you can play him. But there might be some other sleeper tight ends that we're going to talk about as we go through the day that might be better to play over likely, that might get you more value.
But either way, on the Baltimore side, we're starting Dobbins.
Yes.
Great matchup, great explosion spot, basically. We also have Bateman is a good play.
Bateman.
We have him as the number 1 receiver on that team.
Exactly.
On the other side, Houston, Dameon Pierce is another one that we're probably going to suggest to sit.
Right. Pierce is somebody that you're going to be looking at tomorrow and be like, where's this guy at? But he's going up against a tough Baltimore Ravens defense.
Yeah.
They don't really have a great team. I feel like with the rookie quarterback that Baltimore's going to stack the box on him and say, beat us with the passing game. And so I don't think running the ball is going to be something that Houston's going to be successful with today.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I just don't like playing any of the Texans today.
Yeah.
I don't like their receiving core. I don't want to play their running backs. Today for the Houston Texans is somebody that I'm going to sit back, watch it, and see how today develops, and give them a chance to prove to me that they should be in my fantasy lineup.
Yeah. Well, one thing about Houston is they do have a decent offensive line, but they're dealing with like 3 people injured or something like that. So it's going to be a very tough matchup for Pierce. We're suggesting sit him. Nico Collins we like on the year, but at this first week 1, you shouldn't have to play Nico Collins. So let's just sit and wait. Let's sit him on the bench, see what happens. All right, moving on. Cincinnati at Cleveland, a divisional matchup. Who do you like?
I like the Browns.
So
Give me the Browns, another upset. I take the home team, man. I mean, they're only 1.5-point dogs right now. I think the Cleveland Browns have the potential to upset the Bengals today. Like I said in the previous podcast, the Bengals are the team I see on the outside of the playoffs. And this is going to be exactly why that gets started today when the Cleveland Browns end up letting them come to the dog pound and get that W today.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously starting Cooper, Chubb, Elijah Moore, or DPJ, any of those guys start?
Sitting and watching, I think, because I'm not sold on Elijah Moore being the number 2 there.
Okay.
But I'm starting Njoku. I think Njoku's a must play today. I could
Njoku.
see him finding the end zone today as well.
How about the U?
Definitely somebody that I see as a big play today. So I'm playing Cooper, I'm playing Chubb, I'm playing Njoku if I have him. And then you start all your regular traditional Bengals. You start both the receivers. You start Mixon. You start Burrow.
Right.
You just roll with it. You got them super high.
Real quick, I think the fringiest player in this game is Deshaun Watson.
Yes, very much so.
Do you play him?
I'm not playing Deshaun Watson. Because I can see Chubb taking over this game. I think Chubb is going to put a lot of people on notice. I think Chubb has an out. He bust out today.
Okay.
He's going to take a couple to the crib.
Yeah. To the crib! All right, Jacksonville at Indianapolis. We got both of us got Jacksonville winning.
Yes.
But is it gonna be a blowout? What's it gonna be? What's it looking like?
Looking like a blowout to me,
okay.
in my opinion. I think the Colts are gonna have a hard time scoring. You got a rookie quarterback. They're gonna have to go with Deion Jackson at running back. Me personally, I know you feel differently, but I'm sitting all my Colts. I'm gonna see how Michael Pittman fares with Richardson. Because I can see Richardson just being really I can see where they only throw the ball 15 times. So I don't know how much of that actually goes for Pittman and Deion Jackson. I just feel like the Jaguars are just going to roll right over them.
I see it a little differently. I think the Colts have a chance to do something. I don't think Jacksonville's defense is that great. I like playing Deion Jackson today. I mean, you have him on your team for this reason because he's going to start. There's no Zach Moss, so I like him as a flex play. I think Pittman will finish as a wide receiver 3-ish. So, I mean, I think he could sneak in there as well. On the Jacksonville side, you're playing Ridley, you're playing ETN, you're playing Lawrence. I personally am going to wait and see on Christian Kirk and Zay Jones because I have a theory that they're going to cannibalize each other. So I want to wait a week and see how that shakes out.
But Ridley's just definitely gonna have a great game today. I feel like Ridley has a great game.
Yeah, the Colts secondary is pretty trash.
Yeah, and I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna have a big game today as well. I think the Jaguars go out there and put up 30 plus.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about this earlier, but I think you have to set Evan Ingram too.
Yeah, Evan Ingram's a must start. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a top tight end, top half of the tight ends.
All right, moving on. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Who do we got?
We got the Bucks. I think
go.
we both see it the same way. This is
another underdog.
Another underdog. Take them. I mean, the Bucks are on the road. They're going to Minnesota. It's a 4.5-point spread. But I just feel like the Bucks are like I've been saying in all these podcasts, it's just that team that I'm riding with right now. I feel like it's been built up to be a successful team, a successful organization. And all you're doing is just plugging in Baker Mayfield. Okay. And I feel like this is a perfect situation when he was with Cleveland and he got OBJ and he had Landry and all them people and Nick Chubb and they had that team was built for success that first season.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl quarterback, playoff quarterback. And then that thing became like a circus, and then that's when he fell off and then kind of went out. I'm thinking this is a perfect situation, getting plugged into a perfect situation with the perfect team, perfect scenario, no expectations of him except for failure. And I think this is something where he's going to make everybody eat those words.
Okay, so we're playing Godwin, we're playing Rachaad White, high volume, flex play. And we're playing Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is somebody I'm always a little sketchy on. He doesn't get, I don't feel like, enough of the target share. He's more of this down the field guy that you're going to see over the top. High touchdown potential. I love him if I have him in best ball leagues and redrafts and today and stuff like that. I really don't want to put him in my lineups if I don't have to.
He is coming off of a slight injury as well.
Exactly. And he's a little disgruntled himself.
Okay, so we're going to wait and see with Mike Evans.
Yes.
For a week. We have on the Minnesota side, obviously you're starting JJ.
Yeah.
I think you have to start Madison because I feel like it's another like high floor volume play. I feel like he's going to end up being in a flex conversation.
Okay.
So I think he, and he could get the goal lines as well. Jordan Addison, we're going to wait and see.
Wait and see on Jordan Addison because KJ Osborne is a proven good receiver, and I feel like he's going to be competing with touches, just like you touched on the last thing with with Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. I feel like they're going to eat each other's targets and everything up. So.
Okay, so yeah, let's just wait and see on that one. Mm-hmm. All right, Tennessee at New Orleans. We got obviously must starts D-Hop, Derrick Henry. Treylon Burks, is he a start for you this week?
No, I'm not starting Treylon Burks.
Okay, wait and see on that one.
Wait and see on Treylon Burks.
I personally am not going to start him for a redraft league, but don't be surprised if he pops off because I think it's been kind of very quiet. People think he's hurt, but he's not. He's going to be out there fully, so I have him as a sneaky potential to pop off.
Who do you have winning the game, though?
I have New Orleans winning the game.
You have New Orleans. See, and that's what we see opposites. I see the Tennessee Titans actually being able to go into New Orleans and coming out with a win as the underdog. So I was another team that I've been big on too. I have them winning their division. So I think Tennessee could get this job done today going into New Orleans and set everything off on the right track.
Mm-hmm. We also have New Orleans winning the division.
So we do.
But yeah, so on the New Orleans side, Chris Olave, you're playing. If you have Michael Thomas, you gotta play him.
Have to play Michael Thomas.
Just let him go, baby. Let it go.
Just send it. Put him in the lineup.
Full send.
And you just watch it happen. I'm telling you, I think today he has a big game. He has a lot to prove himself. He's been real quiet. You don't see him out there saying a lot of stuff to the media.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's just gonna go out there today and let his play speak for him.
Yeah, you gotta start him now before he gets injured again. And then my sneaky player of the week, Juwan Johnson, is one of my tight end darlings for the year, one of ours.
Right.
So we think he's a good player today. Tennessee has a really good run defense. I am suggesting to sit Jamal Williams. That's knowing that he's probably going to get 20 touches.
Right.
I still want to sit him. Like, I don't see the upside in his case. I don't know. I just feel like he's going to get stuffed. He's not that good.
He's the only back there. So I actually think you play him because if he has no competition for touches, he's going to get like 80% snaps today, maybe even higher than that.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody to put in for him. Like,
right. He's going to get the work.
He's going to get the workload. So he's definitely a 3-down back today.
I just feel like they're going to make New Orleans throw the ball. And I think Derek Carr is a fringe play. I think he could be in the top 12 quarterbacks at the end of the week. I don't know if you play Derek Carr. You probably don't even have him on your team. He's probably floating around the waivers. Floating. So you probably won't need to start him because you're going to want to start people that you drafted over him. But don't be surprised if he doesn't finish in the top 12 or if he finishes in the top 12. Yeah. All right, Arizona at Washington.
Commanders all day. I think the Commanders run away with this game. I like playing Brian Robinson. I like playing Jahan Dotson. I'm even going to put Terry McLaurin in my lineups if I have him.
Terry is playing.
He is playing today.
Scary Terry.
But if you wanted to get ahead of somebody, I like Sam Howell as well today. I'm really big on him having a great game. It's the perfect setup for him to go out there and ball on the Arizona Cardinals. I actually have a league where I didn't take a quarterback until like the 14th round. And somehow Geno Smith was there for me. But I'm benching Geno this week and I'm going to let Sam Howell roll with it. I actually got him stacked up with Jahan Dotson in that league. Mm-hmm. And I have Brian Robinson. I'm putting all three in my lineup.
Okay.
I don't fear the Arizona Cardinals. I'm definitely rolling with it. Right.
So real quick then, Howell or Deshaun Watson?
Howell.
Howell or Anthony Richardson?
Howell.
Howell or Kirk Cousins?
Oof, that's the mark. He's right there. I'd say Howell.
Yeah,
Howell over Cousins.
Kirk's kind of like Geno.
Yeah. I'll take Howell.
Okay. So yeah, you're all in on Howell.
Yeah.
All right. Is Antonio Gibson a flex play?
He could be a flex play. He's gonna be splitting snaps.
Antonio Gibson or Mike Evans?
Oh, I'll put Evans.
I like Mike Evans as well.
Yeah.
I like Deion Jackson over Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gibson.
He's in the mix today for sure.
Yeah, he's in the mix. I wouldn't be. I mean, if you sat him, I don't think it's the worst thing.
Not the worst thing. If you play him, it's not the worst thing.
On the Arizona side, we're not playing anybody.
Nobody.
I don't even want to play James Conner.
No.
I don't care how many touches he gets. It's the same thing with Jamal Williams. I don't care.
No, we're not playing.
I don't care.
You know what? The Cardinals aren't even playing today.
They come out and score like 50 points on Washington.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got Green Bay at Chicago. Ooh, another nice divisional matchup.
Yep. I take the Bears in this one. I think we both. I have the Bears.
I like the Packers.
Okay, opposites.
Yeah, but I could definitely see that game going either way. We're gonna start Aaron Jones on the Packers. Are we starting Jaden Reed now that Christian Watson is out and they said Romeo Doubs is going to be on a snap count?
I think you start Reed. I feel like he's in that wide receiver 3. I start Reed over Pittman. I start Reed over Evans.
Wow.
It's just because the fact that there's nobody else is going to be in front of him there. I think he's going to, even if it's just Doubs and Doubs gets more snaps than what they're saying right now, I still like Reed to be able to produce with Watson being out of the lineup today. So yeah, give me some Reed today.
Okay.
Also for the Bears, this is my take on it. This is Green Bay going to Chicago, and Aaron Rodgers has always notoriously said, I own you." Mm-hmm. So meaning him and the Packers own the Bears.
Right.
This is the time for the Bears at home, week 1, no Rodgers. If they don't take this game, when do they ever beat the Packers? Right. When are they ever not owned by the Packers?
Right.
The Bears have to bring it today, and they have to win it. That's why I picked the Bears.
I think Khalil Herbert's a great start this week, which you probably drafted him late. You might be like your 3rd or 4th running back on your team. You still start him. You got to start him. I think DJ Moore is obviously a start as well, but Jair Alexander might be on him, so it might be tough.
Here's a perfect example. We'll go back to one of the other things we talked about, Khalil Herbert. You start Khalil Herbert today if you drafted him as your 3rd or 4th running back, especially if you drafted Najee Harris. That's an easy sit Harris, plug in Herbert.
Correct.
And roll with it this week.
All right, we got Raiders at Denver Broncos. We both have the Raiders.
We both have the
Another
Raiders.
underdog that we're on. So we're building a nice little underdog parlay so far.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, full send.
Full send. I actually have no idea how the Raiders are a 3.5 point underdog in this game. Yeah. I see this more as an even, maybe pick 'em game. But to be underdog by 3.5 points.
It's one of those sneaky Vegas, it's like too good to be true.
Yeah, it's way too good to be true. It's like, so
we'll talk
I
about
still like the Raiders.
Yeah, we'll talk about the betting later. The Raiders is our game pick if you're doing like a pick 'em. On the Broncos side, we got Cortland Sutton. There's no Judy. Judy's doubtful. He's probably not playing. Do we have Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims? Any of those startable?
I'm definitely going to start Sutton. I want to see Mims, see what he actually does.
Okay.
The whole question on Mims is, he is a rookie. And then you also I have questions about Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. So I've seen him with Sutton before. Wilson could struggle against his defense himself. So I think he may tend to lean on Sutton and then Dulcich as well. I think those are the 2 plays from that team. I'm not starting any of the running backs. I know Denver's saying they're going to feed Javonte Williams, but with the knee injury, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
You want to wait and see?
I want to wait and see. And I don't want to start Samaje Perine because if they do feed Javonte, I don't want to be sitting there with Perine in my lineup not getting touches. So
Correct.
I sit both the running backs, wait and see are they telling us the truth with Javonte or are they just blowing smoke just to make Oakland have to think, or not Oakland, Las Vegas have to think about it.
Yeah, so Sutton's a play. Dulcich is in the mix, probably a top 12 tight end.
Yeah.
They're going to play, we think, a lot of 12 personnel, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Dulcich probably does get some looks.
Yeah, Dulcich. I played Dulcich over Likely, as a tight end. This is definitely somebody that I'm going to play.
Okay. All right, moving on. We got Miami Dolphins against the Los Angeles Chargers. Fins up, baby.
Yeah, I just don't like being on the road all the way in LA week 1 for the Dolphins. But I still pick the Dolphins. And I know that's going to sound like a homer pick because we both are Dolphin fans. I'm
not a Dolphin fan.
I just feel like we have a solid team. I don't see why we can't go in there and win this one. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. You start all the Dolphins. You start Waddle, obviously. You start Hill. You starting Tua. You starting Mostert even.
Mostert, sneaky play.
Another one, playing Mostert over Najee Harris.
The Dolphins are going to have to run the ball today. The Chargers are not going to let them get in the middle, do their thing. So, the Dolphins need to run the ball. Mostert has to be a focal point. So, in my opinion, he will be, and it might turn out well. On the Chargers side, we're starting Keenan Allen.
You're starting Eckler. You start Mike Williams. Gerald Everett is somebody who I also like. Instead of playing Likely today, I think he, he might find the end zone against us. Dolphins have tended to have a harder time with tight ends in the past, and this might just be like a perfect opportunity where I feel like Gerald Everett, he have a good game against us.
Yeah,
I can see it.
One thing about the Dolphins is they have a new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. Gonna probably play a lot of zone. Doesn't give up big plays. That plays in more to Keenan Allen. So I think Keenan Allen has a really good game today, unfortunately. Yeah. But we think Miami pulls it out some way, somehow. Let's go. Next game, Philadelphia Eagles at the New England Patriots.
There you go. I actually like the Eagles. We both like the Eagles in this one.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
They're going to run through the NFC. You put them up against a weaker AFC team like the Patriots.
Yeah.
This would be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
The only one you're playing from the Patriots today, if you have them, is Ramondre Stevenson.
Reluctantly.
Yeah, because you don't like having to go up against that defense, especially when they know that's your only weapon. That's a little scary.
But it is their only weapon.
Right, it is.
So he's going to get catches and all that stuff. So you play him on the Philly side. You're playing the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. They're gonna eat against that man-to-man coverage they try to play in New England. And then
you're playing.
I don't start anybody in the backfield.
No, you just want to wait and see.
It's kind of a tough matchup.
It is.
So I want to wait and see on that Philly backfield, see what happens.
Yeah, but you start Goddard. Goddard's a must play today.
Goddard's
top 5 tight end. Yeah, to me.
Okay.
I think he's up there. So I'm definitely playing Goddard. You're playing the receiver, and you're playing the passing game. The backfield, like you said yourself, I'm going to hold off and wait and see who steps up. Or is this a true committee where it's going to be all 3 of them are splitting carries?
Okay. Now, moving on. Rams at Seattle. We both got Seattle winning.
Absolutely.
Seattle, Geno Smith explosion game. DK Lockett. The Rams secondary is trash.
Terrible.
We're waiting to see on JSN because obviously he has a broken bone in his wrist. They think he's gonna play, but still we're gonna wait a week.
Even if he's playing, you're not putting him in your lineups.
Correct. So we're gonna wait on that. On the Rams side, you gotta play Cam Akers, right?
You play Cam Akers definitely because that's literally it's Akers and Higbee is all they have.
Right.
Higbee's a must play if you have him in your tight end.
Yeah.
That's gonna be Stafford's go-to guy.
Okay.
And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the receivers with Kupp being on IR now.
Right.
Like Van Jefferson should step up into that number 1 role.
He is the number 1, yeah. And then I personally think the rookie Puka Nacua, say that.
There you go.
3 times in a row. Sounds good. He's gonna actually get some playing time today, and we're gonna see. We might possibly see a little breakout. Because he's a good route runner too. So I think he might be a top waiver wire pickup next week in 2 days. So why not, if you have bench room on your bench, why not just stash him on your bench and see maybe he pops off, and then you have like another 3-game window with him without Kupp.
Cool. Yeah, I see it.
And who knows? He could be better than Van Jefferson because we've never really seen Van Jefferson do it.
No.
So that's still up in the air. So I think you stash him if you can. All right, last game on the slate. Primetime, Sunday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys at New York Giants.
It's another upset. I got the New York Giants winning this. I think the Cowboys, primetime, yeah, I don't think they're going to pull this one out going to New York. I think the New York Giants are going to do their thing. I think they're going to win this game. I think you must start Barkley. If Waller plays, you have to start Waller. And I think Daniel Jones is a must start. If you drafted Daniel Jones as your quarterback, let him be your quarterback. Put him in the game. Let him do it.
Yeah. I personally think Daniel Jones is a iffy start because, like we said, we don't really know what's going on with his weapons. Waller's a little injured. He might be shadowed by Stephon Gilmore, they say. There's going to be pressure on Daniel Jones. So it's an iffy start. I could see you starting Howell over Danny Dimes.
Okay.
I could see you starting Geno's, yeah. I could see you starting Kirk Cousins over him. Like, I don't know. Like, there could be, I think he's between 12 to 15 range.
But you have the Giants winning again.
I have the Giants winning.
Okay.
I have the Giants winning. I have, obviously, I have Dak is also fringe. Like, he might be able to, like, not start him, you know, if you can get away with it. But Lamb is playing, and I think Brandon Cooks is a flex play this week.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks is a flex play this week. I like Brandon Cooks. I like CeeDee Lamb. Tony Pollard's in your lineup as well. I'm not playing Ferguson.
Ferg Daddy?
Nope, I'm going to sit him. I mean, I want to see what happens. There's a lot of tight ends out there that I like over Ferguson.
Right.
I pretty much have Ferguson, I feel like, outside my top 15 tight ends this week. So, yeah, I'm going to rock with the receivers, and I'm rocking with Pollard if I'm taking Cowboys guys. If I have them, I'm putting them in my lineup.
All right, so that wraps it up. That's your Sunday Primer Week 1. Your boy Delix.
Coach Bishop here. Take our picks, do what you want to do with them, and take it to the crib, baby.
To the crib!